Child. Conversations with friends.
Mental health in our community, I think they're two different sides of the spectrum. In all honesty, because there are instances where I see that it is getting better, where more people are more, where some people are more.
Good evening, Let's Talk family. And tonight we have a special night for our conversation with friends show. Um, our show is usually scheduled on the second and fourth Wednesday every month, but this past Wednesday we had to reschedule our show to Sunday night. So be patient with us, and we have a very very good panel tonight. We have Melodic Storm, we have Milton, D, and Gail, and myself. So the topic of our conversation tonight is qualities of a good woman. I'm going to go with D first to explain or give us his definitions of quality of a good woman.
I mean, to me, the quality of a good woman is any woman that can keep me entertained. You know what I mean? It's not about the physical with me. You got to be able to stimulate my mind mentally. I got to be able to connect with you emotionally, because the physical to me fades. So when that goes away, what do you have left? So I'm more attracted to a woman's mind more than anything.
So her qualities are all contingent on you.
Nah, not at all. I'm saying she has to be able to keep me interested, and I got to be able to keep her interested. You know what I mean? So to me, a physical thing is nothing, because that's going to fade on my end and on her end. You know what I mean?
I think that hey Milton, you could get in this part of the conversation as well. What would
Okay.
you say would be your qualities of a good woman?
Um, I would say the qualities of a good woman would have to actually start with that woman. She would have to really know herself. And to know yourself is to actually go to certain things, introspection, different experiences, reflecting on it from a non-judgmental view, and really get to know who you are. I mean, we're all products of our environment. We're all products of what our parents passed down to us. We're all products of our traumas. So I feel like once somebody really gets to know themselves, they're actually in a position to treat somebody the way they would want to be treated. But a lot of people, I would just say people in general, not just women, walk around with traumas. So you're not able to actually be a good person to somebody else unless you're, already complete with yourself.
Before I give my definition, Milton, I think that was interesting what you said. Do you think that our traumas sometimes make us who we are?
I think they can if we allow them to be, if they're not identified, if they're not, dealt with. I think it could cloud you that you don't even realize that you're being led by your traumas. I
Mm.
think a lot of us have, because we all have things that we've not dealt, that we've had in the past that you need to deal with. And once you start to realize that it takes an effect on, different relationships, friendships, job, intimate, then you start to peel back the layers, and you make sure that trauma doesn't lead you and is not the forefront of everything that comes out. Because some people, you can just tell they walk around bitter, super bitter.
Yeah, that was one of our words behind the scenes, bitter, right? One of the things which I thought was interesting that we decided this topic was what is a good woman. So I always think of
Mm,
myself like, okay, you want her to be independent, but not to the point where she feel like she don't need a man. You want her
mhm,
to be assertive with handling her business, um, being good in how she treat herself. If she has kids, her kids, you, or even if she's not your woman, how she deals with men in general. Does she
mhm.
keep up that boundary of being assertive and still being a woman at the same time, and not so much a boss? Um,
Right.
I
Mm,
think that's one of the for me, and I guess you guys, because I could kind of relate with what D was saying a lot, is that for us, man, at a certain age, we just want that peace of mind.
yes, yes,
What you
sir.
think, D?
Yeah, like, so to me, like, I need that peace of mind. I love loyalty, that you self-aware yourself, and that you're honest. Like, keep my thing. I've been married for 12 years. I tell my wife all the time, keep it 100 with me. If you don't like something that I'm doing, let me know, because that's the only way I can fix it. Just like if I don't like something that you're doing, I'm gonna let you know, because that's the only way we could fix it. Communication is key. But
Right.
what I
And then
will
people
say
say,
before the ladies chime in, qualities of a good woman depends on the man, because not every man is gonna have the same qualities that with every woman.
Yeah, some men like to be look at their women as like the mother figure in their relationship, and they don't have a problem with that, I guess. We do have two women, good women in my opinion, on our panel, and we don't want to shut them out. I mean, Nick, I mean, melodic. Everybody could just unmute their mics. Like it ain't really a lot of background noise with nobody, so
Okay.
we could just go for it. So we have Gail and Melodic as our women on the panel as well. Either one of you guys could go first.
I, I'm in agreement with loyalty to me on both sides is very, very important. A kind woman, a loving woman, a great mother, a great spouse, wife, a girlfriend, boyfriend, if that's what's going on. I mean, I'm in a second marriage, so my life is I have children from a first marriage. In my second marriage, I have another child from my second marriage. It's a job. It's a job being a wife, being a partner. Um, so understanding and communication for sure. Communication is one of the top things that you need in your relationship.
Gail,
and
let me ask
people
you.
say communication all the time. I'm sorry, Q. Yeah.
No, go
People
ahead,
say
go ahead.
communication all the time. Yeah, it's like, but people don't communicate about the things that really need to be communicated about. People, they have the regular general conversation. They tiptoe around the things that are really the true issues. So to me, communication is being able to be comfortable enough to discuss the issues that are a little bit more uncomfortable. And I think that's where the friendship comes in, and the two people really just being comfortable with who they are individually, because that's when you're able to communicate, to say the things that you don't like. So I think that that's very important, to communicate about the things that you don't really want to, you don't feel comfortable talking about. That's where real communication comes in. People
What are
talk
some of
all day
those?
and don't say anything.
But I think that's where self-awareness comes in.
Right.
Right.
What are some of those
Exactly.
things that you
That's what.
what are
Sorry.
some of those things that you feel that people don't want to talk about or don't talk about? Some important things that we do need to communicate with one another as partners.
Well, I feel like partners are a little bit testy, or a little bit insecure about talking about things that make the other partner feel uncomfortable, or may even tap into your own insecurities. It could be anything. Money is a big issue in relationships that people don't talk about, or feel a little bit taboo to talk about. If one person could be making more than the other, or somebody's used to doing something and they can't do it at the time. It could be anything, but the things that would make you feel a little bit insecure, or your partner insecure, that could be the tightrope for that particular couple. And I think that they have to get past those thresholds and talk about those things, because those things fester. And when I have something that I don't want to talk about with my partner, or I feel uncomfortable, I'm going to find somebody else to talk about that with. And then after a while, you start to build different communications in different places and avenues, because you're just reluctant to have that communication because it was tough.
So my thing
Okay.
is, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead, Melodic.
Okay, I just want to chime in because I feel like, um, first of all, I feel like qualities of a good woman are subjective. That's first and foremost. I think it means something different to every single person. I think that within the confines of a relationship, in all honesty, if you're in a committed relationship, why would you be in a relationship with someone that you were uncomfortable having a conversation with at all? There should be nothing that I can't talk to my spouse about regarding me, us and just family in general. Because in all honesty, if you're in a committed relationship with that person, their family becomes your family, and your family becomes their family. So I don't feel like any topic is taboo. And if I'm in a relationship with someone where I can't, I feel uncomfortable or insecure, maybe I shouldn't be in that relationship. I mean, you got to find your people. You got to find how you click and how you
Yeah,
fit together. It's supposed to be like a
yeah.
puzzle piece.
I'm gonna ask you
I
guys
feel
a
like we're saying the
question.
same things there, but sorry.
Do you think that we're judging whether, because we went a little to the right, we're judging a good woman or a good man based off of a relationship aspect instead of saying, okay, it could be your coworker, it could be an opposite sex friend.
I
Wow,
just
this
want to say
person really check all the boxes. They really got some good qualities. They're a good person. Do we have to be in a relationship with someone to say whether they're good or not?
You
no,
don't.
I feel
I
like
was
we
just
touch
basing.
on everything. We touch on everything. I'm sorry. I apologize. We touch on everything. I'm talking about having a friend that you know that's a good woman. Just first of all, I think every man should have a group of good women in his life so that you can get different perspectives from everyone.
Why do you think
Yeah.
that?
Why? Balance, balance.
Some men
don't
are not, and I know this could go to a whole nother different level.
right.
Some men aren't capable enough to have opposite sex friends. Some men
And
don't
that
feel
means
like
he's not
that's a
mature.
Would
You
you
mean
what was that?
capable?
Because to me, that means he's not mature. If you can't have an opposite sex friend without it becoming something else, then you're not mature. You gotta
Definitely.
be better.
Definitely. And you're gonna walk into that situation with trust issues if you're not capable of having a female or opposite sex friend. That's first of all, your girl is supposed to be your friend, first and foremost. You guys are supposed to be friends. You guys are supposed to be able to
That's a fact.
talk, kick it, have that comfort level like Melodique was talking about. All of those things are great, but still yet you find yourself in a relationship where you're uncomfortable talking to this person that you were so comfortable with before. Because people grow
mm,
and things change. And
mm.
situations are not always as easy as they were before. So then you do find yourself in that situation knowing that you're supposed to be doing the right thing and you still sway. So that's where I feel like communication comes in, where it's like, all right, this is something I've been procrastinating talking about. I talked to my man about it, but now this is brewing now. And you feel the energy brewing in the relationship, and that can lead to so many different other things. So I feel like
So
nipping those things in the bud is key.
what I'll say about that though, you gotta watch who you tell, because some people don't always want what's best for you. So you might be telling
Oh
your
yeah,
your your man or your other friend something, and they're unhappy in their life, and then they may make
yeah,
you lose your
definitely.
good woman because they can't find them a good woman.
Well, first and
Or
foremost, like you said, D, if I'm talking about a woman, I'm gonna come and talk to you because you have 12 years of experience. I
Mm.
see that you're doing the same thing that I'm trying to do. So you would be a great comrade for me to kind of exchange that off of. So
yes.
very selective. But again, like I said in the beginning, if you don't know yourself, you're gonna choose the wrong friends. You're gonna have bad communication. You're gonna have trust
Agree.
issues. You're gonna come off wrong if you don't know yourself.
Don't
It's
So I
either.
think
respecting
that's
that
the first and
self-awareness.
foremost. Yeah, that's first and foremost. Before you could be a good woman to anybody, you got to be a good woman to yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that goes both
Absolutely.
ways. Yes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so we all agree that basically a good woman, it could be, is so subjective, is based upon who's the viewer, who's looking at that good woman or whatever.
Correct. Correct.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that falls in line with the cliche beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
All right. So let's get to the point where there's a lot of black women out there that are failing in marriage. More black women are failing in marriage than are getting married. So what's everybody has the keys to what a good
I don't think
woman
it's
is.
just black
Why?
women feeling
Mel,
I
in
was
marriage.
gonna
Why
I'm
say
not
are
that.
gonna do that to my
women?
black
Mel,
queen. We're
Hold
not
on.
gonna
Mel
say
just dropped the
black
DJ.
women feeling
Mel
in
just dropped
marriage.
the flex bomb.
Listen,
Where the
Right.
We're
flex
not
I
gonna
was
bomb
do
gonna
at,
say
that.
Mel?
that. Why
Right.
why why are we saying that it's just black women?
There's
Because
women
Right.
that feel that's just failing in marriage. It don't
but
have to
why
just
do
be
why
black women.
Well,
and
well,
why
well,
why are we saying that it's women only.
In general, hello, there you go.
Well,
I think
I'm
everybody
saying
plays
women
a
because
part.
the name of this show is qualities of a good woman.
I
We're not
will
talking
say,
Right,
about
but you
I
can
will
have.
say,
But listen,
So
listen.
I'm
You
going
can
with
have
the
you
show.
can have a good woman,
Right.
and that man is not doing what he's supposed to do in the
I-
relationship,
So
and
true.
he could
I-
lose
Very
that good
true.
woman.
I will
Very
say,
true. Very true.
statistically,
I've been there, so
statistically, what
I can
Milton is
speak on that.
saying,
I've
what Milton
definitely
is
been
saying
there.
is correct.
I'm saying that
Statistically, black women are
Initiate
getting
divorces.
divorced. They're filing for the divorce at
Right.
the most highest
mean-
rate. So
that's true. I filed for mine, so you're right.
now,
I don't go by statistics. 'Cause we
Same.
go. I don't go by statistics. Statistics.
Mm.
I don't go by statistics.
I mean,
I go
listen,
by what I see.
I love black. I would like to go on record to say that I love black women. They're the queens of the earth, right? But just like black men, black women have a struggle also just dealing with society. So they're going to come off a little bit more aggressive. A lot of black
Right.
women are coming into relationships, and this is the first time they're actually communicating and compromising with another man because they grew up in single parent households. That factors in also, so the whole thing, I think we need to come together to kind of see, because I think we all want the same things. But a lot of times a black woman, because of all the other society pressures, could come off a little bit more aggressive, and they could be the black woman, or because they had to raise all their kids by themselves, they do work with a little bit different. And now you're going to come into their life and tell them how to do this, or want to compromise with this. They could be a little edgy. So I feel like just that communication and being honest with yourself could kind of alleviate a lot of problems in the beginning.
Now, I want to say you don't want to mess it up and say, because some men see it as aggression when it's just being a strong black woman or a strong woman in general. And
Right.
sometimes it's not aggression, it's just they take initiative, and some men can't handle a woman taking that initiative. And then it's like, oh, this is too much for
That's
me.
definitely true.
Absolutely.
That's
And then
definitely true.
when
That's
a woman,
definitely true.
when it becomes too much for them, then the woman will file for divorce because they're like, oh, you not who I thought you was.
But D, I see you kind of advocating for the woman, which is good. And I think that I'm all for healthy relationships, but something is going on. Something is happening where these relationships are failing. Because you said you don't look at numbers. I'm a math teacher for 20 years. I look at numbers. They do make sense. I also work in finance.
Numbers do. I mean, with certain things they do.
Okay,
They do,
okay, so
right? And
I'd like
everybody
to
has-
chime in.
So my
Sure,
thing
go
is,
ahead.
I'm in a
Wait,
marriage of 12
wait.
years with a black woman, so I can't look at it and say that what's going on, because I'm in a relationship with a very strong black woman who holds me down all the time and keeps it real with me and makes me a better man.
Okay.
So I can't say, oh, why is all of these black women marriages failing? Because I only go off what I know, and I know my black marriage is living very healthy right now. So
Okay.
Definitely. But and I could also say, we could all say, D, like, my situation is popping, my background is good. So, forget everybody else that's around me, because everybody else got whatever in their background in my back. I can't do that, because you know what? Your background is going to affect mine one day. And if it doesn't affect me directly, our kids can affect each other. So being able to help us as a community to kind of get a rounded view in terms of what's the main problem. Are there kind of stigmas going on in particularly the black community? And not just looking at the ones that are successful. You bring it to the table and telling us, how is your woman great? Could teach other black women what's making it successful, because you have a 12-year marriage, which is rare now.
see, that's the thing, though. I let it show with our actions. That's how when the community sees us, dang, they've been together for a long time, and they have a healthy marriage. I want that. My kids have come to me and said, Daddy, I want a man like, my daughters have come to me and said, Daddy, I want a man like you. You take care of mommy. And my sons have said, I want to marry a woman like my mom, because my mom makes sure that my dad is happy and make sure that our house is taken care of. So that's how we show it. One thing I've always heard, actions speak louder than words.
Right.
Okay.
Definitely,
Okay, but I just
definitely.
I want to chime in, and I want to say that I feel like it's a sign of the times, in all honesty. I think that the statistics are so high because first of all, black women are not dependent on the males any longer. I mean, I think that actually, I think the breakdown of the black family comes into play there. That's first and foremost. I mean, I feel like, in all honesty, when you think about it, back in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, the black women were totally dependent on their husbands to take care of them. And a lot of them, when you think about it, there were tons of kids involved in the situation, and it wasn't as easy to leave. And they dealt with a lot of stuff, like, I mean, how many family secrets do people find out about? Like, there were like, he had a whole second family, you know what I mean, and the woman stayed. Look at Rita Marley. Like, I mean, there are so many instances like that. So whereas now women are actually very career oriented, and they're like, I don't have to depend on you to, take care of me. I don't have to be here. So we have to have a partnership. And if we can't have a partnership where we both compromise and try to, make this marriage work, then, or, then I'm out. Like, no, I don't. Why do I have to deal with this ill treatment?
I
You
feel
know
like
what I
they're
mean?
putting their women, black women, and women in general are starting to put their mental health first. I think that's what it's coming down to.
Absolutely.
And I think everybody should put their mental health first. This is going back to that last show, but we're not going to get into that. But I think everybody should put their mental health first. So,
No,
and I think
definitely.
that's what happened back then.
That's
Back then,
definitely-
I'm sorry. I was just saying back then, like
No, go ahead.
our
Go ahead, G, I'm
parents, our
listening.
grandparents, they put up with a lot more from
There you
men,
go.
women, in general, both ways.
Absolutely.
They put up with a lot more that us nowadays are not going to put up with.
Deal with.
Right.
One of the things I got from
Right.
D and Milton is from an individualistic standpoint. If you are in a relationship or you are in a marriage, you do have to communicate. You do have to have that communication and be able to have those difficult conversations. Where I kind of could see where Milton's coming from is one of our biggest problems as a community is that we don't, for some reason, we think the black woman is the black man's enemy and then vice versa. And we forget to understand that there are some outside forces that go on that really have waged war on us and
Right.
waged war on the black family.
Definitely.
And by any means, it has to be destroyed in their eyes. And I think that
Definitely.
one of the things that they've done in the last 50 years is that the base of the black family has, in my opinion, has always been the black woman. But what the enemy has realized is let's elevate the black woman. And if by some more outside forces she forgets her family, her man, her brother, her son, in the process of being elevated by this type of society, their job is done. Because in my opinion, this is why you'll hear a lot of people say, and which is the craziest thing for anybody to say, is I don't need a man. Or a man will be like, I don't need a woman.
Well, I feel like this, for a woman to say that I don't need a man, then I feel like she's never met a man. So
I think also that's a great point that you make, Q. And I think another thing that we have to look at is the demasculation of men. Men are not the same of what women used to deal with back in the days. The masculine man is something different, in terms of, because men and women, we're all equal as humans, but a man is a man and a woman is a woman, period. And there's certain things that, D, if there's somebody knocking on the door, you're running out. You're not sending your wife out there. You're running out there, all right? And there's certain things that you do as a man, right? So I just feel like that masculinity has been completely cloudy right now with the media and everything else.
I can agree with
there's
that.
a cloud line. Women don't even know how to respect a man anymore. So now if I come up as a masculine man, they're like, hold on, why are you so dominant? You're controlling? No, I'm just being a man.
No, you're toxic masculinity, sir.
Exactly. It's like,
Well, it could be the vice versa where they think we're being aggressive when we just being a man. So it goes both ways.
Right.
Well, that's what I was saying, D. That's what I was saying. Just to being a person of just being a natural man is too aggressive nowadays because a lot of dudes out here are soft and they take a lot more than they should.
That's a fact.
And then it gets to the point, unfortunately, where a lot of men, they lost their will to fight. They lost their will to express their manhood. They don't fight for themselves. And it ain't even physical. It's just stand
Right.
up, man, with your 2 feet and just be accounted for. And every great nation is known by their men. And unfortunately, we're not, as a group, leaders like we claim to be, or we should be.
Mm-hmm.
Gail, you quiet down there.
Real quiet. Yeah.
Give us something,
Real-
Gail.
I'm observing, and I will chime in when needed.
Come on, don't do that.
Melodique needs you.
Oh.
No, she holds her
Hilarious.
own. She holds her own for sure.
Absolutely.
Every day. Every
No,
day.
but that
We
that,
know.
that is key. What's going on with the demasculation? Definitely, we see it with black men, and
It's on them. It's in media all day. All day, it's in the media.
Correct. Correct. So then what we see now is the evolution of the woman, right? As Melodique was talking about, women have to be a little bit more independent. They have to go out and get jobs. And a man is not looking for a woman with money. We're not looking for an independent. We're looking for, yes, we want you to be able to take care of yourself and be self-sufficient, whatever that looks like for you, right? Whatever that looks like for you. But at the end of the day, we want to nurture her, just like how you want to protect her. You know, you want that security. We want our own security as well. You know, we could jump around the bush all we want, but that's
just
exactly
give me peace of
what
mind.
we
Me and
need.
D in the peace of mind aisle twice.
As D said,
That's
we
all I
want a
need.
peace of mind.
That's all I need. I get enough hecticness at work with my kids. Just be my peace.
Just
That's
give
all
me,
I
let
need
me,
is my
let me
peace.
unwind for about 3 hours when I get off work.
But what
Mind
about
you,
what
D,
about her
you've
piece?
been,
I was like 3 whole hours.
Right. But what about her piece?
Oh, see,
Let's talk about that.
that's when the
Let's talk about that.
communication comes in. When she comes to me and she says, "Babe, I need some time to myself."
Right.
Cool. I'll run you a bath. I'll have your wine ready for you, and you could take your time to yourself. I'll take these kids off your hand. That's what that's what a partnership is. Yeah, give each other peace.
That's the
Melodic,
quality of a good
but
man.
melodic, that's part of the as men, I think we learn that y'all speak a different language than us.
Well,
We
I feel,
gonna
like,
tell-
I feel like you have to know, first of all, I feel like people need to know their love language, in all honesty.
Mhm.
Because I feel like if you're miscommunicating on that level, you're never going to get anywhere. So if you
Because-
don't know if your needs are not being met, it's never going to work out. And that goes for both sides. That goes for male and female.
Because you guys love to say everything is all right and everything ain't all right.
I don't say that.
I mean either.
When it's not
There
right,
you go.
it's definitely known. And I want him to tell me that as well.
Gail, let
Absolutely.
me ask you a question, Gail and Melodic. Do you think that it's a fine line between letting him know everything ain't all right and then nagging him?
I think you got to pick and choose your battles.
Right. Absolutely pick and choose your battles. Absolutely. No, nagging him, meaning like constantly having something to say about everything, complaining about everything. No, I don't think that should be the case, because that, it's in life, things that we're not going to always be happy about everything in life. We're not going to.
Right.
So yes, picking your battles is very important. There's going to be some things that you are going to have to step back on and just hold your tongue, or in a sense, just like, it's not necessary for me to complain about that. That's not that big of a deal for me to have that conversation.
So my thing is,
but do y'all do that? Do y'all
Absolutely.
do that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
More than y'all think you do.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
my thing is, if you let me know something, you got to give me time to fix it. You can't tell me something and want me to fix it, and then don't get, like, you tell me, hey, this is bothering me. Okay, you can't expect it to be fixed. Some things can't be fixed right away. You know what I mean?
I understand that completely, because
I can fix a chair faster than I can fix an air conditioner. You know what I mean?
and that works on both ends, because if there's a complaint from your husband, your partner, if on a female side too, we can't just snap our fingers and we make it right. It takes time. It takes time.
As long as I see you trying, that's all I ask for. If I see you trying, but you got to give me a woman has to give a man the same thing back, though. If a man,
Absolutely.
if you see a man trying, you got to hold it. Now, and what I will say, I've been on the women's side a lot. There's a lot of women out here that they don't give a man a chance to fix it. It's like, if it's not where they want it to be, oh, then I'm out. I can't deal with this. You supposed to be, have this together. You supposed to do this. And it's like, okay, you told me this was the problem, but you ain't letting me fix it.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, okay, I'd like to chime in. Because in all honesty, I won't say that I'm guilty of that, but I will say this, that I will have my specific timeline. So I may not communicate that. I may
Hold
be
up.
like, all right,
You got
wait,
your own timeline?
I got my own timeline. I got my own little timeline. Absolutely. Okay.
So,
And I'll be like, okay, I might be like, I'm gonna give him 6 months. And then after 6 months, after I've communicated what the issue is, and I don't see that you're making any steps to improve that, I'm like, okay, like, and within those 6 months, I'm gonna bring it up again, like, okay, well, we talked about this, and I noticed that, this is not, being addressed or whatever. This is a problem for me, and I expect that person to communicate what their issues are as well. You understand what I'm saying? But after 6 months, I may be like, yeah, like I'm good.
But that's not in
So yeah, that's
normally in a
actually,
marriage. That's
No,
not
not that. Remember, we're talking about the whole
Right.
spectrum. We're talking about
Right.
marriage, friendship,
right.
etc. So
Right.
I'm not talking about within the
So
confines
let
of
me
a
ask
marriage.
you, so let me say something. First of
Mhm.
all, don't think that you're gonna do something outside of a marriage all your life and then get in a marriage and do something different. Like, marriage is not what makes you married. The quality of what you're doing is what makes you married. So you can't say that, you know what, I see this man and you know what, I rock with him, but he got this thing that I don't like. I'm gonna give him 6 months to fix that. Because we're not married, after 6 months it's a wrap. How are you going to deal with the problems in your marriage, which is going to be a lifetime now?
I
That's
think
6
that
months.
goes back to
No,
what
no,
you
no,
said,
no.
Milton.
No.
I think that goes back to what you said, Milton, where you have those people, them strong people around you, where you could talk to this person and be like, hey, like if she was to talk to me, hey D, I had this problem with this person. I'm giving them 6 months. Do you think that's enough time, or am I bugging? Am I tripping? Am I doing a little too much? And that person, if they rock with
Right.
you the way they say they rock with you, they'll let you know. Now you bugging. You need to reel it back in some. You know what I mean?
And you know
So
what? Let me respond to that. Let me respond to that really quickly. And I think that's fine. But what I'm saying is that whatever the method that you have, you need to be practicing outside of the marriage what's actually going to work in your marriage. You can't go to practice and just play around with your friends' basketball and expect the game time to come up and you want to hit your shots. You know what
But
I mean?
I'm
You
going.
have to do exactly what you expect during game time.
Okay, but can I just chime in here? So my thing is, I'm saying that first of all, when I'm saying that something needs to be changed, I'm talking about like major issues. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like this when it comes to
Yeah.
situations, when it comes to even just getting to know people, everybody has bullshit about them. Let's be very honest. It just depends on whose bullshit you're willing to put up with. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm talking about major deal breakers. I think that everybody should have their major deal breakers. Like, this is something that I cannot accept. You understand what I'm saying? And if the person is not addressing that, then yes, we may not even get to marriage
Right.
because you can't get it right. You know what I mean? Of course,
Right.
within the confines of a
And
marriage.
You can't get it right in my book.
Right. Hello. Exactly. Like I said, it's subjective. Everybody's needs need to be met. I need to meet your needs and you need to meet my needs. You
Right.
understand? And if we can't meet each other's needs,
No, I
we
get.
may never even get to marriage.
No, that
Let
makes
me ask-
perfect
let me-
sense.
let
I
me
was just
ask you-
making sure that we weren't taking like an easy way out to the dilemma. That's all.
well,
Yeah,
marriage
no.
isn't easy, so it's no easy way with marriage.
At all. At
Milton,
all.
let
Marriage
me
is not
A
easy.
job.
Absolutely.
Milton, let me ask you, because I know you brought the question up in the beginning of the show about having those difficult conversations, and maybe you may be in a relationship for a long time or in a marriage for a long time, and something been bothering you, and like if you bring this up,
Right.
everything could blow up. And we know a lot of
Sometimes you
people that
need
So
set
for
it
me
up.
personally, Q, I'm just a straight shooter. I'm a very much straight shooter. So what you're gonna get from me from the beginning, sometimes my mouth gets me in trouble. So I just try different ways of trying to say it easiest for that person to get it. But there's no way I'm going to think about something that I'm rocking with you with, and we're intimate, and I can't say it to you. Because intimacy for me is spiritual.
Right.
And I must say also for the record, I am single, you know, dating, whatever, serious relationship, but I'm not married. But at the end of the day, I feel like a relationship is a relationship, and success is success, whether you're married or not. But overall, yeah.
So what I'm gonna say to that is a blow up. If it's a blow up, it sometimes it needs to happen because sometimes growth comes without happiness.
And they're definitely
Do you say
putting
that
a
again,
blow up
please?
in a wedding.
Sometimes growth comes
I mean,
without
in a marriage.
happiness.
Indeed, those are those uncomfortable
Right.
conversations,
And you
situations,
need those.
etc.
Look,
Absolutely.
marriage is never
You
gonna
yes.
be sunflowers and rainbows all the time. You need
Right.
those blow ups. You need that because
Right.
you're gonna grow as
Yep.
people. As y'all keep
Absolutely.
going in your life together, you have to grow as a person. One thing I told my
Absolutely.
friends always ask me,
I
what
agree.
is go ahead, and I'll get back to what I was saying.
No, I agree with that
All right,
100%.
well, I'll
What
keep
you were
going.
saying, I was just saying. No, I think there's some kind of lag. I think there's a lag. So
It
we
is.
kind of
Yeah,
pick
it
it
is.
up after like a
It
second
is.
after. But yeah, just like I was saying with like even a friendship. To me, my friendships are not based off the great times we have together. Just like a relationship shouldn't be based off of any one thing that's great. It's about how we recover through the drama. How we recover through the drama. The friendships I have are 30, 40 years. These are the guys I'm talking to that knew me before I even had sex, right? So they know when I'm coming at them, what I'm saying. If it's a little sideways like milk, that's not even what you mean. You know what I mean? So I can't get anything past them. You need to be able to have that or try to forge something close to that with the person that you marry, that you're rocking with. Because only that, you know what I mean? Because it's good times are fine. What about the bad times? They shouldn't be able to break you that easily if you're gonna, try and do something for a lifetime.
My
Absolutely.
friends always ask me,
And
they
I think
say,
that
yo,
people,
you've been married for 12 years. How, like, what's the secret? And I tell them it's no secret. What I'm gonna tell you is you're gonna fall in and out of love with your
Absolutely.
significant other so many times.
I say that all the
Key
time.
is
I say that all the
Absolutely.
time.
key is finding what you fell in love with that person. And
That's a true statement.
Yes, it is.
And
Yes,
there's gonna
it
be
is.
times that you're loving him more than he's loving you, and vice versa.
Yep.
In and out, huh, Gail?
Agreed. Agreed.
Huh?
In and out, huh?
In and out.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle.
Yep. But
Right.
you have to know that you want to be with that person. You have to know that you're going to get over those hurdles that you need to get over. It's life.
Right.
It's life.
it happens. I mean, it's
Do
some
you think
morning
that-
you're gonna look at that person, you're gonna be like, ooh, but it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right.
So I mean,
I know I've gotten that look, and I know I've given that look. So
do you think that women have a full sense of confidence nowadays in terms of like I feel like the era I grew up in, you didn't give yourself your name of like, hey, I'm a good woman or I'm the man. The streets gave you the name. Your friends gave you the name. The people in the I think a lot of women are going on there like, yo, I'm a good woman and women's movement and woman ba 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 and y'all gassing yourself. Y'all gassing yourself and y'all suicide.
I'm a good
say
woman.
on here now, man.
I got to get the flex bombs for these shows now.
And
Yeah.
I think that women, if you are a good woman, you should say you're a good woman, and
Absolutely.
you should portray that. You should do those things. You should be that good woman who you
The
say
key
you are.
word
I think you
said
shouldn't
that,
have to
yo,
say anything. I think you shouldn't have to say anything. I think if you're a good woman, the people you first of all, you're gonna be flocked, you're gonna be married because a good man is gonna recognize it. And you're not gonna have to tell him. He's gonna feel it, he's gonna see it, he's gonna take it, and he ain't gonna never let it go. But going around, just like going around saying, like, yo, I'm the man, that's straight insecurity. That's straight
No, when
insecurity.
I'm
You have to
saying
tell nobody you're a good woman.
when you're
Good
saying
woman.
that you're a good woman, it's okay. It could be in your eyes insecurities, but if I'm talking, depending who I'm talking to, I could be talking to Nikki. Me and Nikki could be having a conversation,
Correct.
and I could just,
Right.
because I'm I'm a good ass woman. I know
what
That's
that.
completely fine, Gail. That's completely
No, that's
fine.
right.
I
No,
want
I'm
you to
saying
be,
this
yo,
in conversation,
Gail.
saying that to her.
Yeah,
And I
that's
can
fine.
maybe I'm
And
going
that's fine. I'm talking about
maybe I'm going through a little something with my husband, and
right.
I'm talking things out, and I just need an ear, and
Right.
I'm like, this is different, and I say, you know what? Because
Ain't nothing
I
wrong
know
with
I'm a good
that.
ass.
That's not
I'm a
what I'm
good,
talking
and
about.
I'm
I'm
a
talking
good
about that
woman.
false
Milton,
sense of
Milton.
confidence. That false
So
sense of
what I'll
confidence.
say is
That Megan,
a good woman,
Thee
a good woman
Stallion
is never gonna
confidence.
have to
Like,
say she's a good woman. She'll have that confidence, and she'll
Right.
like I said, her actions will speak
that's what I'm
for
talking
itself.
Louder
about,
than
D.
words. There you
That's
go.
what I'm talking about, D. That's what I'm
Okay, that
talking
might
about,
be
D. It's
true,
the way you
y'all, but
carry yourself. How you
I've definitely said that I'm a good woman.
Well,
And
sometimes you need that for yourself, though,
Oh,
to tell
thank
yourself,
you.
I'm a
right.
Thank
good
you.
woman.
Thank
I
Milton.
know
you.
what I bring to the
Yes. Ain't
table.
Thank
nothing wrong
you.
Because
with
sometimes
that.
you have
Nothing wrong with
outside
that.
Hello.
people
Hello.
that make you feel like maybe I'm not doing right. So
Well,
you need to tell yourself that sometimes.
well, and my thing is, if you're first of all, if I'm worried about what outside people are thinking, then I'm dealing with or I'm waiting for other people's validation. Me personally, I will say I'm a good woman, and I don't need any outside validation
To
to
me, that's
tell
an
me that I'm a
insecurity.
good woman.
Not
Absolutely,
at
huh?
all.
To me, that's an insecurity. If you're looking for outside validation,
Right.
then that's an
Absolutely.
insecurity. So
Right.
anything can
Absolutely.
be an insecurity.
Right.
Mhm.
I think that
But you
Milton,
also, but hold on. At some point, you have to look at your results. You can't say like, yo, I'm the man, and you keep failing. You can't say, hey, I'm the good woman, but you keep on hitting the same roadblocks year after year. You're gassing yourself. So you do need to probably listen to one person in the crowd that's telling you like, yo, you need to switch this up because not everybody needs an adjustment. So what I'm talking about is not the confidence of being good. You're black. You're going through a whole bunch of different things against society, against you. Be confident. Say you're a good woman when it's appropriate. But let somebody tell you. Let life show you that you're a good woman. Let your results be your answers. You don't have to go around saying anything.
So you're saying don't look for you don't need the validation, but you don't have to tell
It's
yourself
gonna
it all
come,
the time.
D. Yo, D, I've known you for
Yeah,
about
I
20
think it's
minutes, and
getting.
I know
I
that you're
think
a good
you're.
dude. And I know, hold on, and I know that you're a good dude because of the way you talk, the way you talk about your family, the reverence, the respect that you have when other people are talking. You don't have to tell me you're a good dude. You know what I'm saying? That right there is showing me by the way you carry you, the way you showed up.
That came from being
I
raised
think
by a
that
strong woman.
woman just
Yes,
you
A
better
good
know it.
woman.
Yes,
Hello.
yes,
Yes.
I'm gonna keep it
a
real.
good
My
woman.
mom
Hold
raised
on.
me, and that's a strong woman. And she told me, like, look, you need to make sure when you decide that you want to get married, you want to have kids, that's what you want to do, and you're gonna be there for them, and you're gonna show them a different life than what the media is showing them or what other people are showing them.
right.
Milton.
Definitely.
Hey Milton, I see where you I see where you were going. I do think as no, honestly, I do because I'm on your train now. Don't think I'm not on your train, Milton. I do
No, come
think as
with me.
men, I do think as men, we need to do a better job as brothers, as sons, and just having male and female friendships of telling our women that they're good. And one of the reasons why I say that is because what most women go through in corporate America is that trick bag.
Hello.
Nothing's never enough for them. They don't have enough education to be
Definitely.
on the same playing field as their peers.
And
The
I'll
only
add to that too.
Our
You need to,
society only teaches them one thing: you're better than your man.
yeah.
Right. I agree.
I'll add
And
to
it's
that. You need to do it when it's not a special occasion too. You
Absolutely.
shouldn't just be telling your woman she's great on your anniversary or on her birthday. You need to be able to tell her on just a regular day. You come home and just tell her, yo, I love you. Like, you
Absolutely.
hold
Right.
it down.
Mhm.
Look, I bring my wife random flowers just because I know my wife likes flowers. So I bring her
Those are the
flowers to
best
let her
kind.
know
Those are
you
the best.
are appreciated. And
That
she
is
does the same for me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I feel like that's supposed to go both ways as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I said
Mhm.
she does it for me too. Like she know I like to eat. She know what I like to eat. So it'll be sometimes I come home and I had a hard day. I could be talking to her at work, man. I had a tough day. I come home and I got some turkey wings with some mac and cheese and some collard greens. It's a Tuesday. Why am I having all of this? But hey.
Definitely, it should go both ways. Definitely. And I think a woman should tell a man that he's handsome. You look good
Indeed.
today. You smell good.
Right.
I think that a man should do the same thing for a woman. I
Indeed.
think that you
Right.
look good, baby. You look so good today. Oh, look at my sexy. Oh, I want to hear it all.
Right.
And
want to
some,
hear
I'm
it
saying,
all.
And you know what,
men don't
Gail?
like to say
You
it,
know
but
what,
men
Gail?
like that. Some men need that.
And it's so true. But let me talk about something. Sometimes that's the hard communication. Sometimes it's much easier to criticize in relationships that are toxic than be like, oh, than to be like, you know what, yo, you look real good today. Or you look handsome, or sweetie, you smell good. Or, you know, I love that dress on you. You look super sexy. Okay. Sometimes that's the hard part. Sometimes that's the hard part.
But that's the key word. Did you hear the key word that you used? Toxic.
What's that?
You understand? I said the key word that you used was toxic. And the whole thing is most people don't even identify that their relationship is toxic. It's like throw the whole thing away.
Right.
Like stop it. Like why are you even entertaining that foolishness? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But the toxicity was the reason why, you know, the relationships are not, you know, they can't be failing. So there's toxicity that people don't even realize that it's toxic because it's so repeated. The behavior is so repeated. So, you know, like being able to compliment just as much as you're able to criticize is good communication. You know, being able to weigh those balances.
What I say too is sometimes people see they grew up in with their mom and their dad in a toxic relationship, so they think that that's a good relationship. That is what a relationship is. Oh, he hits me, so he loves me. Oh, he curses me out, so he loves me. Or oh, she cheats on me, she loves me. You know what I mean? I have to do better. I have to do better because that's what they knew growing up, and that's wrong.
Right. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's why I said people need to unpack and become whole with themselves before they jump in. You have to unpack.
Do that healing.
Everybody's coming with something.
Do that healing. Yeah. You're absolutely right. I agree with that 100%. I think that
growth is not happiness.
Absolutely. Well, I think that as Black people as a whole, in all honesty, I feel like we don't date per se. It's like a lot of us jump out of one situation into the next situation, whereas I feel like you definitely have to do that work. You have to do that internal work before you can be any good for anybody else. You have to be good for yourself. And a lot of people jump from one situation to the next situation. In all honesty, I want to know, when I'm dating someone, I want to know, how long ago did you guys break up? And why did you break up? What were the issues? You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, like who hurt you? What's going on? Like, I want to know where your head is at. You know what I mean? Because more often than not, people don't deal with that. Like, you know, and it's like, no, like in all honesty, me personally, I don't want to take on all of that. Like, sort your situation, sort out what's going on with you, and then, you know, maybe we could be friends. And, you know, like I want to see your healing. I want to know what's going on with you, because hurt people hurt people.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like you can't just leave with that though. Like if y'all just started talking, you can't be like, well, when did you break up with this person? Because then like, you got to give that person time to be comfortable with you. It might be a situation that they don't want to talk about.
Friendship.
If they was cheated on, or if it's a woman, if they was getting beat on, they might not want to talk about that situation yet, and it might take them to a place that they don't want to go.
But that's very relevant. That's very relevant. Like my thing is, okay, let's say you're dealing with a woman who came out of a physical, you know, abuse situation or whatever. That is very relevant to your situation, and that will directly affect your situation. So that is something that you should definitely be made aware of. Anything that has transpired in your past relationship that can affect the current one is something that should be addressed.
And it should, but you have to let that person do that. You can't
relationship be based off of trauma bonding.
You might put them in a situation that they don't feel comfortable. You might be their peace. You understand what I'm saying? And you might take their mind off of that. And then when you make them bring that up, then their peace is gone.
But if that person hasn't done the work on themselves, on their self, then it doesn't matter whether or not you're that person's piece, rather. You're the band-aid for that situation. As soon as that band-aid gets ripped off, it's going to blow up. It's going to implode. You understand what I'm saying?
But
That
the
person
thing is,
Nah,
listen,
I agree with you a lot of stuff, Melodic. I don't agree with that because you can do that healing on yourself, but some things will still be a trigger for you. So you can be healed and you can be better, but some things will still trigger you because if you have been in trauma, it's gonna still be there no matter what. No matter if you've done the healing and stuff, something can still trigger that trauma and make you go back to that place. So you have to give that person that time to be comfortable enough to let you know about that trauma.
okay, but it's okay for her to ask those questions. If that person's not ready to discuss it,
Right.
they just don't discuss it until they're
But I don't think you
comfortable.
throw them away because they're not ready to discuss it, though, is what I'm saying.
Oh, no.
No. I'm not saying throw
That's
them
what I thought you
away.
were saying.
Yeah. Oh,
That's what I
no.
thought you were saying.
No. I'm not saying throw them away. Absolutely not. I'm saying
Some
it
people
needs
may
to be
view
addressed.
Melodic and Gail, some people may view that as a red flag, though. You could be so caught up in your trauma, you'd be like, damn, why this person want to know my stuff already? Like, you
Well,
know,
if I'm going
and then you
off
could feel like I'm closed and be like, damn, I've been knowing this guy for 6 months and I know he been through some stuff and he don't want to share it with me. You know, the 6-month rule, Melodic, that's when it comes back in.
well, I'm gonna say this: if I've been with somebody for 6 months and we're trying to grow and build something,
Right.
I am going to need something.
Right.
I am going to
It's a
need
give
to
and
know
take.
what's going
Give
on
and
with
take.
you, because how are we growing if we're not communicating?
Right.
If you're not telling me what's going, how can we change this? How can we move forward if you're not giving me anything to move
Right.
forward? How do I get to know you?
I do think
Right.
a lot of that stuff comes naturally. Like it just a person to tell you something and you'd be like, what? Like, hold up. What you just say? And I think that if you're engaging enough to be able to get them to feel comfortable to talk to you, they will tell you all those things that you think you need to know and vice versa. I mean, that's all about making that person feel comfortable, making that person feel safe.
I think it's the energy you give off.
Safe.
I'm a big
Yeah.
person on energy.
Safe.
Sometimes some
Yeah.
people's energy, you just
Absolutely.
feel it, and it's like I feel like I can tell this person something, and I
Right.
won't be judged or they
Right.
won't look at me differently. It's the energy you give off and the energy you give in.
Indeed.
Yeah, I know.
I
I
agree
know.
with that.
I
Well,
know.
I think
I
that
don't.
I think that to be able to get people to really open up and like Q said, being safe, that's very important. The energy comes from that safeness, and I think that the way you could kind of foster that is make yourself a little bit vulnerable. You know, you can't be there asking a question in.
That's
You
true.
could probably
Right.
talk about something that was a little bit
Right.
uncomfortable for yourself.
Right.
That's
You know,
true.
and that kind of opens up
Right.
the audience. You know, it's for people
I
to be like,
agree.
you know what,
Right.
I can kind of relate to that.
I
Milton,
agree.
Milton, I'm gonna speak on my
Yes, sir.
personal stuff. I don't usually
Oh,
do this,
shoot.
right?
Oh,
I don't usually do
okay.
this, right?
Hey, Q.
I share some personal stuff with an individual, right? And they infuse their whole self into it. Didn't have nothing to do with them,
Mm,
right? Infused their whole self into it, and that person lacked accountability with saying, you know what, you was right. I shouldn't have got into it. I should have just allowed you to dump what was going on with you. Instead, they took it
right. Vent.
and infused their whole self. And I'm like, damn,
Sometimes
what
you just
happened?
need to vent.
Hey, D, it was listen, it was totally innocent. It wasn't even nothing that serious. It was just like, yo, D, I'm going through this, yo. What you think I may have did wrong?
Mm.
Instead of
But Q,
look,
it
and
goes
you
back
gave
to
me advice.
Q.
You gave me advice,
Mhm.
right, D? I
It
took
goes
your
back.
advice on the situation. And next thing you know, D done infused himself in the situation. I'm like,
Right, but it goes Q. It goes back to people being okay with themselves. You know, it's like somebody putting up a post on Facebook. It's not even about you, but you're taking it personal, and you're like, hold on, they talking about me because you putting yourself into it because you never dealt with your issues. So you
Right.
walking around ready. You walking around ready like somebody's attacking you.
and that was something because right
What,
when my
Gail?
sister
Gail, can you relate, Gail?
when my
That
sister
is not me at all.
when my sister
I could
found out
care
about the
less.
situation, and because I didn't tell my sister, and then when I finally told her about what was going on,
Right.
she said, you got to let people go through their own trauma on their own selves. Sometimes that individual was going through their own trauma. That's why
It goes
they were
back to
so
the
easy.
trigger thing. You might have
Yeah.
triggered something in them,
Right.
and you became you became their punching bag.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo, D is a team player, yo. D is
I
a
am.
team player. Everything that you're talking about, she has you right where you need to be, yo. I love it, D. I love it. D, you a team player. I'm gonna call you when I need some advice. D, we gotta exchange something.
Get some good advice from him. Right?
Indeed.
No,
Good advice.
Indeed. That's my
12,
best friend.
12 years of marriage is that's
Right.
a good amount of time. My
Indeed.
first
that'll
marriage
do
was
it. That'll do it.
17 years, and my second marriage would be 10 years.
All
in
right.
And I'm a
Wow, Gail.
real.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
giving age. I'm giving age.
Yes. Yes.
See, I'm
yes.
not giving age, but I'll give it now.
No,
I got
good.
married young. I'm only gonna be 35, but I learned. I knew what I wanted, and
Right,
I
that's
seen the
right.
qualities early, and I said I ain't gonna let this get. I'm not gonna let this get away.
I hear that.
Right. Right.
I
Right,
hear
right. And I applaud you to that. I applaud you to that.
So let me ask Milton, what and I'm just saying Milton because your name just pops up on me, right? What would you think we need to do going forward as individuals and as a community with these matters?
I feel like open dialogue is very important. In my years of teaching, like you'll have one student raise their hand and ask the question, but when they ask that question, you'll see 10 other heads pop up, like because they was waiting to ask that question. So I feel like the dialogue is going to open people up to be able to kind of share a little bit something that's going on with them. And once you start talking, you realize that you're not the only one going through the problem. So now it becomes a little bit more. So I think conversations like this, Q, which I just like to take the time to thank you for even inviting me here because this is great. It's therapeutic for me. It's therapeutic for the listeners. So just opening up the dialogue and kind of dispelling that pride. Black people are very prideful because we've been pushed down for so long. So we're always, trying to bring our best foot forward and trying to be okay. And that's why mental health is a problem in our community also, because who wants to admit, what I'm saying? Like, yo, I feel confused at times. So I just think that having a dialogue, getting people a little bit more comfortable to be vulnerable, it's a good place. It's a good place.
Yeah, I think working on us as a community, everybody needs to work on themselves first.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Indeed.
Definitely need to work on ourselves, each one.
Because you
And
can't work on anything else until you work
That's
on
key.
yourself first.
And that's every day. We are all still working on ourselves.
Absolutely.
I'm still working very much so in my relationship.
If you say you don't have nothing else to learn, then you don't need to be here no more.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. Absolutely.
Gail, I think that's a great point because we're always growing. So what you knew 2 or 3 years ago, you thought you had to figure it out, is probably not the same situation now. So that's why the communication is
Yes.
So always give yourself that humble chance. Always give yourself that humble chance to be a student. Once you think you have everything figured out, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Only idiots think they know everything.
My
grandfather. So,
my grandfather used to say to me, you're going to experience life forever. When you stop learning and experiencing life, you die.
Absolutely.
So you're going to always
absolutely
learn.
Right.
You're going to grow in your relationships. You're going to grow in life. So
just to speak on where Milton was going, right? I think social media really made us less communication.
It has.
I don't think we don't chop it up. I know I have a cousin in Jersey where every time I'm down there, we'd be like, oh man, we go get our coffee and we just talk for hours. And people don't do it.
Right.
I remember I used to see the older guys do that. I know D and Milton remember seeing the older guys always at the
playing at the chess table and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
D,
me and my wife, we do game nights so that we can have that that type of thing going on. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can be in social media and it'll change your whole life. Like, oh man, this person is traveling. I wish I was doing that. You seeing that all day, because people only going to put up what they want you to see.
Absolutely. That's why I'm not a big social media head.
Right.
I'm not watching what the next person is doing.
That's where it falls into what Milton said, is the look at me now syndrome. I'm this, I'm good, I'm doing all this, I'm doing all that, and really, like you said, you should be judged by your peers more than you judge yourself. Your peers are gonna say, well, this is a beautiful person. Let me talk about them on social media, like, yo, she doing their thing. You're not really proud of them. As we would say, giving the person their flowers when they're
here. Absolutely. But I mean, I think you have to take social media for what it is. In all honesty, it's entertainment. I mean, in all honesty, to me, social media is not real. Like, you have people who actually have arguments on social media. It's just like, are you serious?
But Melody, to defend that though, we can say that because we knew life and communication before social media.
Right.
So to us, we can kind of put it in perspective a little bit more.
Right.
But I have a 12-year-old. That is communication to them. You know, that is their life. You know, they take it on a different level. So I think, like what Dee said, and having your every Thursday we're going to do this. That's a social thing that we do, and then you're going to talk. You know, or having dinner together. You know, Melody. You know, I ride bikes. You know, I ride bikes. I try to get into like little ping pong tournaments. You talk to people. You know, you start to vent. It's healthy. It's healthy.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that another show we'll get into boundaries. In all honesty, I'm going to be very honest with you. I have dinner with my kids at the dinner table, and nobody will bring the phone. You can bring your phone to the dinner table, but put it down. Don't let me see you pick up your phone. And that goes for me as well, because I have to hold myself accountable as well. So we sit there and we talk. How was your day? You know, what did you learn? You went to school today. What happened at school today? Let's talk. Let me know what's going on with you.
That's
exactly.
Great.
You know, I think you're supposed to, I just think you're supposed to be involved. And I feel like you're supposed to let your kids know that, you know, social media, again, is entertainment. And yes, some people think that it's real life or what have you. But, you know, I mean, I think us as parents, we have to differentiate what's real and what's fake for these kids, in all honesty.
100%.
That's like with me. One thing I do when I come in the house, I could be on the phone outside of the house with my boys or with anybody. Once I get in the house, hey, look, I got to call y'all back. I need to talk to my kids and my wife, see how their day was, let them know how my day was, and communicate with them before I get back on this phone. Because sometimes you can get yourself caught up in your phone and the whole day will be gone, and you like, dang, I ain't getting no time with the people I need to have the time with.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Not to mention the fact that I also think that, okay, let's go back on topic to qualities of a good woman and a good woman. I think that some people, I know that men are very visual, right? And I think that some people feel like, oh, well, this one looks good. She's a good woman. I think that some people get things confused, in all honesty. And my thing is, someone can look like, you know, a shiny, bright, brand new apple and be rotten to the core from the inside.
Right.
So what I'll say is that's not men, that's boys.
Right. So,
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. But I think sometimes some men can get caught up in that too. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Right. And I would say that that's also not one. I would say that's also not women, that's girls. Because a lot of times, because first of all, you shouldn't give yourself credit for looking good. It had so little to do with you. You know what I mean? Your personality has to do with you. So a lot of girls, and they lead with sex. So they want to come off popping and cleavage here and and then not want to be treated a certain way. People think that they shiny because they look shiny, and you're not. Right. And I'll be quick to tell people you're not shiny.
Milton is funny.
It's true. I mean, look, you can just see how times changed. I mean, when I was growing up, the women that was in entertainment that I loved was Aaliyah, and really Aaliyah. I had a bid for Aaliyah, and she was in videos with baggy jeans.
It's a different time.
Like, it was different times. Like, I don't look. My thing is, I don't need everybody else to see what you got.
Right.
That's for me to see.
Right. It's
So
a
let me
different time. We
let
were
me
just
let
talking
me
We
about
both
that.
know you got it.
let me
But that's for
ask
me.
D and Milton a question, because I think that we kind of like set the tempo as men. This could be. I hope this don't come off as chauvinist.
It doesn't.
So we could literally we see the programming change of when we were younger and what we perceived as a good woman on TV and in just as celebrity. For example, celebrity was not sold to us as kids.
Mm-mm.
Now it's sold to us. Oh, celebrities, they're doing this, they're the role models. They're back in the day
Right,
we
right,
had,
right.
you know, people may not agree with me, but the Cosby Show was such a big effect on our lives that,
It
Yes, it
was.
was. Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
you looked
Cosby
at
Show,
Claire
different
like Claire
world.
was the truth. Like,
Hmm.
whew, she was the standard of
Right.
a good wife.
That was black excellence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
And where are the Claires? Where are the Claires? Where?
This
That's I'm gonna get the T-shirt. Where
Mil-
are the
Milton,
Claires?
Milton, but let me ask you, Milton.
there's plenty
I
of
know that
players.
it is. You hear a lot of us black people talk about representation in shows, representation in what we consider Hollywood, whether it's filmed in Hollywood or not. Is it us
Right.
that we should not accept these roles, or we should demand us in roles that will put us in a positive light?
Well, look at this now, Q. Name a comedian, male, black, that you have not seen dressed as a female.
Only Dave,
You could
man.
only
Dave
name a
Only
Chappelle.
few.
Dave.
I would say Dave
Dave, that's
Chappelle.
only
He's
Dave.
the only
That's
one.
it. That's it. That's it. Right. So now you get to see now that you have a trade. You know what I mean? Because the monetary part of it, you have to factor that into the situation. If you're an actor and an actress and you go into Hollywood, you got to deal with Hollywood rules. So there's certain breaks that you're gonna get to feed your family, and they're jumping into those breaks because that's what they came in to do, to act or whatever. So you get that, and then you have to feel like the Denzels that's only gonna take a specific role. But most actors can't afford to do that,
Right.
So
first
we
thing I'm
get
gonna
into
say
the part
is
where we don't own enough. We don't own enough. We don't own enough to be able to make the moral decisions that we need to be making as a society. We don't own enough.
Right.
So we get pulled by money. We get pulled by this. We try to look out for our kids. Like, a lot of people did a lot of things in the past 2 years in the name of money or for their kids to save their family and went against their morals,
Indeed.
because they had to do
Indeed.
what they had to do, So it's
Right.
like, it's a tough spot that we're in, Q.
But I also feel like we need to support these shows where we can have strong black leads. You understand what I'm saying? I feel
Right.
like, in all
Definitely.
honesty, these movies come out and, we don't support them. And then, there's no backing behind it. So, then Hollywood
Mhm.
doesn't want to infuse these shows into, uh, the atmosphere because, in all honesty, they're like, I'm not going to make money off of it. But I
Right.
think that most black people don't realize how strong the black dollar is. We we are consumers,
Mm.
that's true.
but
So
we just don't
Black
know
people
how,
don't
how
realize.
powerful we are.
Black people,
Right. Go ahead.
exactly. Black people don't realize how strong the black dollar is. White people know. They know
Right.
so
because they're
what
using
I'm gonna
it and
say
they
too
listening
is
and they'll listen to. Go ahead, D.
no. So what I'm gonna say too is I think we should support these black shows, but I also feel like we can't put celebrities as our role models all the time. My role model was never a celebrity. I'm
Right.
gonna keep it real. My role
There
model
you
was my
go.
Uncle Peter.
Mhm.
I seen what he did with
Mm.
his wife and his kids, and I was like, that's what a good man is. I want to
Right.
be that to
Right.
my wife and to my
Nice.
kids. You can't
Nice.
always
Right.
look at a celebrity to be your role model. Sometimes your Uncle Peter is right
There
there.
you
You know
go.
what I mean?
Okay, but you know what, Dion? I'm gonna say give some background on the whole Uncle Peter situation. Like, just how, like, you don't see men like this.
Yeah,
More
no.
often than not,
So
you don't see them. You know what I mean?
my uncle took care of my aunt who was paralyzed from the neck down.
She
He
had
held it down for
MS.
her.
Right.
Took care of her. He had 2 children who had multiple sclerosis, and
No,
he
they
made
had sickle
sure
cell. He had multiple
sickle cell.
sclerosis.
She had multiple sclerosis. They
Right.
had sickle cell. He
Right.
took care of all of them and held it down. Made sure they had breakfast in the morning. Made sure they was going to school. Then still went to work and took care of what he needed to take care of. never complained about anything. He just did what he was supposed to do. And like you said, Milton, society saw it and was like, that's a good man.
Right. Right.
And that's what I saw. And as I grew up, because like I said, my mom raised me by herself. So as I grew up, that was my male figure. And I was like, man, my uncle is the dopest dude ever.
And D, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Did you ever hear him say, I'm a good man?
No, he didn't have to.
He didn't have to. He knew it.
He knew it. Actions speak louder than words.
And didn't complain not one day.
Exactly.
Not one day.
Did not. You and okay, just
because you don't need to.
So put it like this. I want to say this. So for those who don't know, D is my brother. But I'm just going to say this. No, he never complained, but he was so devoted to his family. And when his wife was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, they were young. They were young. They were like in their 20s. You understand what I'm saying? And he took care of her. So think about it. She was completely incapable of taking care of herself and taking care of her children and her husband. And I feel like that's what partnership is about. In all honesty, he took on exactly sickness and health. There you go. And he took care of her until her dying day. You understand what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is, the funniest thing is, when you would see my aunt, she would always, her nails would match her outfit. So let's say you saw her one day and you saw her the next day and she had on a different color. Who do you think polished those nails and coordinated that outfit? Her husband. Okay. Hello. So when I say that I have seen love and I have seen compromise and I've seen sacrifice, because in all honesty, a relationship, whether you have a good woman or a good man, is about sacrifice on both sides.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I know that it's possible. So,
Right.
Hey, Gail, you know, since
that's a dope story.
Since Gail, you want to tell your age, right?
I didn't want to tell my age.
No, you want to talk about how long you was married both times and all this stuff. Bragging, but we definitely
bragging. I didn't think that was a brag.
No, I definitely don't think it was a brag. And cut it out, Quentin. Go ahead, Gail. You like a fine wine, girl. You get better.
I'm gonna ask you, Gail, because I got some grades going on too.
Yeah, I started at 19, and
it give us some advice.
Advice for
whatever.
He said whatever.
Yes, you got the experience.
She sure does. Love her.
That's wisdom.
I think that in relationships or building a relationship, again, there needs communicate. You need to have communication. I think you should not be afraid to talk about anything. I think that you should figure out early on when starting your relationship, you should figure out between you two what you all want, what you want, what your goals are, what your desires are. And I think that you would know at that point if this person, again, you'll know at that point if this person is worth moving forward with. Now, only God knows if your relationship will stand the test of time. Only God knows if this relationship will be my person forever. But you got to jump in there and try it out. You got to jump in there and begin in your relationship with that person. Well, maybe not a lot of advice, but that's a little something for you.
That's good advice.
Sometimes it don't have to be a bunch of words, Gail. We get the message.
Okay.
Definitely.
D, let me ask you, D, before we started the show, D, something dropped on our phones. Both of us got an alert.
Yes.
And I just want the audience to know that me and you had the same reaction from an alert that Tom Brady has unretired. And we kind of got the same response that he was around his wife and kids for the last 6 weeks and not around the fellas.
He said, "You know what? I think I could play another year." I'm gonna
me
say
go
this:
back.
some men are not built to be that type of guy.
I
Some
guess
men
not.
can't do it.
Right.
I've seen it with old friends. I've seen it with some new friends where they're not built to do that, and that's fine. If you're not built to do that, that's fine.
But be honest.
Exactly.
And understand that balance.
Because you need balance for sure.
Indeed.
Who's thinking?
You need balance for sure.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
Absolutely.
You because you do need, like, I tell, me and my wife have this conversation all the time. She needs her girl time where she can have her wine with her friends and paint what she need to do, and I need my time on 2K or with my boys out somewhere at a bar or something. You need that time because then it if you just with your significant other all the time,
It's
Right.
gonna be to the point where, like I said, you fall in and out of love with your significant other all the time. If all you see is them all the time, you're gonna
Right.
fall out of love with your significant other because you don't
have to have
that
your
time.
right. You have to have your own life. I mean,
Yes.
in all honesty, like I will say this. I feel like you can smother each other, and that's like a no. Like, you know, I mean, it's great that you
Well, at the end of
time
the
together. Go ahead.
Yeah, at the end of the day, people are attracted to other people. Yeah, but people are attracted to, like, the things that you like, the things that you don't like. They're attracted to the fact that, you have your own friends and your own things going on. And people want to kind of stay in love with the person that they met. They don't want you to become, like, a leech or, like, a whole extension. They want you to have your individuality. That's sexy to have your individuality.
If you with that person all day, it's gonna stunt your growth.
Absolutely.
It's gonna stunt your growth because you're not learning something from other people that you could bring back to your relationship. You could be with your boys and they say something that happened in their relationship, and you could be like, "Oh, that happened to me, and how they handled that was great. Let me take that back here,
right,
and bring that into my relationship."
Right. Agreed. But I will say this. So I feel like when you have a marriage, in all honesty, you're supposed to interact with other couples.
Yeah.
I will say this. I feel like single people sometimes can get in the way of a committed relationship or a marriage, and basically hinder that marriage from progressing. I feel
Your
like
perspective is
you're
different.
supposed absolutely, because they don't have a we outlook, they have a me outlook.
In some cases, it is good to definitely have other married couples in your life as well. But if you've had a good girlfriend or for the male, if they had their boy that's been around forever and they're good people as well, it doesn't matter.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. What I'm saying is, I feel like you shouldn't be a married couple, and everybody else is not married, and that's who you hang out with. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you only hang out with your single boys or your single female friends or whatever. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. You don't fit. You don't fit in the group anymore, and eventually, those that thinking is going to rub off on you or cause problems in your situation. You know what I mean?
You set yourself up for failure when it's like that.
Right.
And a true friend is going to adjust with you. They'll give you the space that you need at the time that you need it.
Right.
They'll understand. Right. They'll understand that they don't understand. They'll understand that
Right.
they don't understand certain things. So, a true friend is going to kind of stay in their place.
Listen, my best friend isn't married. He's been my best friend for almost 20 years. He's not married. He just had his first child it's been about 6 years, but he is single. But he understands my relationship. So when I go to him for advice, he can still give me good advice because he's seen what I've been going through or what we've been going through. Let me not say what me and my wife have been going through. And he'll be like, "Oh, yeah, D, I don't know." Or like my wife can trust him and know that if I go out with him, if we go on a guy's trip somewhere, I don't have to worry about my husband doing nothing stupid because I know that his friends are not going to put him in a situation where he's going to do something stupid.
Yes,
right.
Because your man loves you. Your man loves you regardless if you was married or not married. He loves you, so he wants to see you. He wants to see you popping regardless. My friends, I've been a best man in all of my friends' weddings. I've been a best man in a bunch of weddings, and I've never been married. But they trust me enough to know that if I'm in their household, a part of their marriage is strictly trust, strictly honesty, and we've proven that way before the marriage. So that's just an extension of them, that I support anything that they love. So it's not always you have to be, because sometimes the married couples, too, Melody, sometimes they bring a little toxicity from their relationship to yours also. You know what I mean? Yeah,
That's true. If their marriage isn't happy, they
Wait,
I have friends like that.
That's where those boundaries come in, though. That's where those boundaries come in. Because in all honesty, I'm going to be very honest. Like, have you ever been at let's say you and another couple go out to eat, right? You guys are having a couple's night out, and their situation may be a little toxic, and then they like start flipping on each other, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute, like I don't want to be here, like like it makes you feel uncomfortable. So I've been in that situation before where it's like, whoa, like, all right, I think it's time to end the night.
It doesn't mean
me and my wife call that blackout. That's when you pull your phone on, you just like this.
I see the situation like Milton said, where the pillow talk started and some secrets got exposed, and really it ended bad for one couple. To the point that friendship and some certain lines got crossed because of the pillow talk, because one individual was sitting back manipulating people, not being honest, and it really, to this day, it really affects how they go about their business as trying to be cordial friends.
But you know what I feel like pillow talk between you and your mate is between you and your mate. So my thing is, if we have a conversation about this situation, even if that person comes to you and confides into you and says something, you better act like it's a surprise. This what goes on right here is between me and you and nobody else.
Look, I've been in them. I never knew.
Right. There you go. Right. There you go.
Exactly the reaction.
Hello. Exactly.
But I'll say this: some married couples can put up a great facade where you think that they are in a great place, and they're not. And again, it goes off their energy. And then later on down the line, you find out, like, oh man, really? You know what I mean? And and it's happened to me and my wife. We had some friends that they put up a great facade, and they showed signs, but because they, like, when we were together, it was all great times. We never realized those signs. And then when we finally did realize those signs, it was like the energy that they was giving off was gone, and we were able to grow more as a couple because we didn't have their negative energy on us.
Right.
Like they would tell us,
that's real.
We don't want to see the young lady in the situation. I don't want to see my friends doing better than me. That was a sign. That was a sign. But we thinking, we not your friends. We are your brother and sister.
Right.
But we're not. So,
that was definitely not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then when we started going up, and they were still down here, that's when we started to see it even more. Like, this energy is a little different. Now, did it hurt us?
But it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So D was kind of like the same thing I was saying about like the false confidence that a woman could walk around with, like, I'm the whatever. That's the same thing that the couples were walking around with, like, we're good. That couple that's super extra affectionate in public, always watch them because they got something to prove, right? What you got to prove? A real couple, diss the girl, y'all diss him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not natural. It's not natural. They got something.
You better watch those
touchy people. You gotta watch those.
Hey, Milton, you said the telltale signs they super affectionate in public. Gotta watch them.
I would say, so that makes me uncomfortable. Super affectionate people in public, like, in all honesty, I'm like, there's a time and a place for everything. Like,
you don't need to be coming down your girl in front of him. I'm like, wait a minute.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Like, that's definitely too much.
Yes, get a room.
Sound like we turning to be the get off my lawn people now.
But sometimes, like what D was saying, they're trying to put that image off to look like they have everything under control because they know on the inside it's a wrap. So when they came around y'all, they was hoping that y'all didn't pick up on that bad vibe. So they had to act like everything was popping. You know what I mean? Don't let you know what I mean. You don't have to do that because your energy dictates. Real is super obvious. Real is super obvious. You know. So it's like don't fool yourself.
You're cutting out, Milton.
Yourself.
You're getting a major lag now.
Yeah, you're cutting out, Milton.
We done lost the homie.
They ain't letting Milton be great.
He said he done lost the homie.
Oh, it's not letting them be great.
I so appreciate you guys. This was such an interesting show. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
I think the title doesn't give it justice, you guys.
Right.
I think we might have to change the title.
I think we dropped gems in here.
Places.
I think we dropped gems in here.
Listen, he said, y'all ain't going to be forgetting about me. He's back.
Free Milton. Let's go.
Free the homie.
It was like they weren't trying to let you be great, Milton. Milton said, I'm coming back.
Right.
Then now I'm coming right back in.
Y'all won't lose me that. Y'all won't lose me that easily.
So you guys got any final thoughts?
Not tonight, Gail. Well, I feel like before they cut me off again, let me just say this, Q. I feel like overall the conversation was golden. And coming back to the actual topic of quality of a good woman, there's no such thing as a good woman without a good community. And a good woman is going to have to come from the good nurturing from a man. It's going to take the whole community, her friends, the parenting, how the kids are receptive. Yes, definitely. So a good woman is a responsibility of the Black man and the Black community because as Q said, the Black woman is the heart of everything. Everything. That's the Eve gene. That's the creator of everything. So we have to nurture that. We have to realize the different stresses that go on in that Black woman's mind that may come out a different way. And just, let her feel safe. Let her feel safe.
Yeah. Agreed. Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? Any final thoughts?
I mean, my final thought is just love yourself before you can love anybody else.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Just keep on being a good woman.
That's a fact.
Indeed.
And men, keep on just being good men to your women.
Indeed.
You guys stay on after I close. But my final thought is it's obvious that we have issues in our community that us 5 people are concerned about. And one of the easiest ways to get rid of those ills is to communicate.
Absolutely.
It's the key to every relationship, whether it's a friendship, relationship, brothership, whatever. Just communicate. You don't know what nobody else could be going through or how they had their own individual battles. So to assume that is one of our biggest issues, and just pick up the phone or write a letter or just be like you guys said earlier, just tell the person, you appreciate it. I love you. You're a good person. If that person is not the person you're in a relationship with, you tell them, like, yo, I sit back and I listen to you on the phone and I see you from afar, like, yo, you really good people, like you all right. Because some people need to hear that.
Absolutely. And support your friends, in all honesty. Support your friends. When you see them going left and, you see certain things going on, support your friends. I mean, I feel like everybody has to hold everyone else accountable.
That's right. So with that, we're going to conclude the show, and we'll be back in 10 days.
All right.
we got an interesting show coming in 10 days, and we'll keep you guys informed of what the topic that is going to be. I kind of know already, but so with that, everybody, thank you guys for joining us on Sunday,
you.
opposed to what happened
Yes.
Wednesday. And
Thank you for
really
having us.
appreciate you guys
Yes.
on the panel. We
Thank you for
definitely,
your time.
we
Yeah.
You guys
definitely had a fun
definitely
night. You
contributed.
guys are welcome to come back anytime.
Indeed.
Appreciate
And tell a friend to tell a friend.
Indeed. And
Right.
we're going to ask you guys. I mean, I would really love for you guys to let your friends see how you drop jewels on this podcast, because you definitely did. I mean, the conversation was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, everybody take care. Until next time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.